Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final day of the EuroTeQaThon.
A very good morning also from my side.
I'm Henry Achten from CTU, Czech Technical University in Prague.
And I'm Peter Finger from the Technical University in Munich.
Together we have been moderating the past 3 days of the EuroTeQaThon, and today it is my pleasure to continue.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm here only for a very short time. So I hand over this moderation facilitation for our award ceremony and also the first before the pitches to Henry Achten. And once again, Henry, thank you very much for this amazing collaboration during this EuroTeQaThon. Thank you very much.
It was a real pleasure, super great working together with you and the people over here. Excellent.
Let's do it again.
Yes. All right, so as we said, in the past 3 days, the students have been working really very hard on their presentations. We have seen 14 excellent and very innovative, highly creative ideas of the student teams. They got personal training sessions, they worked on the further making perfect their presentations, and today is the grand final. So the 14 teams you're going to see today are going to present their final ideas for the jury, and today we will select 3 winners of the EuroTeQaThon. If you have already joined in on Friday, then you know the 14 pitches that you saw already. Just for your information, so we have the main theme of the EuroTeQaThon is Leave No Waste Behind, and we have 3 subtopics, cities, energy, and consumption. And for each of these tracks, you're going to see the presentations per track. And for each of these tracks, we will get 1 winner of the EuroTeQaThon this round. These 3 winners will win a trip to Brussels, where they can present their ideas to representatives of the European Union. So in that way, we can really try and spread our ideas and creative young people also to the highest level possible. So that being said, I would like to introduce the jury members who are here today. So I'm going to walk to the desk. So good morning. Do we have the slide with the jury members online? Because I don't see it. Yes, great. So good morning. It's really my big pleasure to announce you 5 very distinguished jury members. Fortunately, 1 jury member had to apologize due to illness, so Dr. Andrea Geipel unfortunately will not join us today, which is very pity, but we keep our fingers crossed that she will be better very soon. Our first jury member that I would like to introduce is Professor Gerhard Müller. Professor Müller got his diploma and PhD at Technical University in Munich and did his habilitation in 1992 already. From 1992 to 2004, he was consulting engineer in the field of structural dynamics and vibroacoustics, and for 9 years general manager of an engineering company. Since 2004, he is the chair of structural mechanics at Technical University in Munich. And since 2014, he is senior executive vice president for academic and student affairs at the Technische Universität München. Professor Gerhard Müller, thank you very much that you are here. Welcome. Our next guest, I hope he is online, is Professor Dr. Ati Veikko Pietarinen. Ako Veikko Pietarinen is Professor of Philosophy of Science and Technology at Nurkse Department of Tallinn Technical University. He has developed new methods for creative reasoning and logics of abduction applied in artificial intelligence, innovation studies, cognitive and computing sciences, economics, social sciences, education, and clinical reasoning. He teaches critical, creative, and design thinking, science and technology studies, pragmatism, and scientific methodology at the Nurkse department. He was formerly full professor of semiotics at the University of Helsinki and has held visiting professorial positions in Korea and China. So Professor Pietarinen, very welcome also today. Thank you very much. Then next is Giulia Marcoccia. Giulia Marcoccia worked in the automotive industry for over 15 years. She holds a PhD in innovation management and now focuses on teaching innovation management through design theories and practices, and researches the ecosystem structuring process. Giulia Marcoccia is the committee member of the design practice SIG of the Design Society, and she created the management training program for SIM 4.0 consortium in Italy. So Giulia, thank you very much that you are here. Welcome. And the final jury member who will be here today is Dr. Patrick Mottel from CTU in Prague. Patrick Mottel holds a PhD in biomedicine. He is the head of the Department of Science and Research of the Faculty of Electrical Engineering of Czech Technical University in Prague. And he is also a member of the EBoost EuroTech team of this project. So Patrick, very much welcome, and thank you that you are a jury member today. So this concludes the introduction of the jury for today. So now for all the student teams, we will start now with the presentations. Every team has 3 minutes for their presentations. You have the slides available. So we are now going to switch to Eindhoven, I believe, if I'm correct. Yes, for the it's too far away, I can't read it. Apologies. But so you have 3 minutes for your presentation, and the jury member has 2 to 3 minutes also to react on your presentation, and then we move to the next one. So let's now switch to the first presentation. Everybody, good luck with your presentations, and you have the floor.
Yes? There we go. We're going through?
Yes.
Awesome.
Perfect. 70,000 tons of PET plastic has been left behind. Good morning. We are Team Pologistics, and together with Wingplast, we are trying to solve a simple problem. Why is no one wanting to recycle their plastic? Our research led us to believe that the issue lies within the supply chains of today, supply chains designed to export the plastic outside of the EU. Today, 10,000 trucks of plastic waste is leaving the EU on a daily basis. And even if we are so lucky that it stays within the EU, we don't have any guarantees that it's actually recycled in a sustainable manner. It might just be buried in a coal mine or burned in a cement plant. But change is coming, and we hope to be a part of this change. And we are here today to present our solution, Pologistics, that will help cities become the first link in the sustainable supply chains of the future for plastic recycling. Yes, and how are we going to do this? We designed a brokerage that is built on 4 key principles. We have holistic stakeholder management, making sure that both solution providers and waste producers are part of creating this platform. We are doing holistic lifecycle assessment, meaning that we look at entire systems instead of just single plants. And most importantly, we are going to be open about, show the world what we're actually doing. Lastly, we would also like to optimize things when they're running. But to have something to optimize, we need partners. And to get partners, we need more than charm and good ideas.
And that takes us to the prototype. We have laid the foundation for a recycling case configurator to assess recycling cases and find out what the best solution for plastic producers is. Additionally, we have created a map that shows how far waste can be transported, both in environmental and from financial point of view. However, most importantly, we believe Pologistics will increase market mechanisms and allow cities to choose sustainable and transparent solutions. We brought our prototype on the road with us, talking to plastic producers, lobbyists, and solution providers. Experts and consultants from the industry have emphasized that such solution hits the nail on the head, and it is something that really is needed to bridge the gap. This solution also supports the incentive from Plastic Recyclers Europe on increasing traceability and transparency of the market. With our proposal, we can address the European cities of plastic recycling, which in total generate around 7.7 billion euros in turnover. For our business case, the revenue comes from taking a small margin when we help waste producers and solution producers to come together. Additionally, we would do the consulting work to increase the cash flow in the early stages. We are Team Pologistics, and we are working hard to leave no waste behind. Thank you for your time.
I don't know what happens to the slides.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. Now we switch to the next team, Site Vision, also in your location.
I don't know. The slides
Site Vision, you have the floor.
Oh, yeah. Also, just a note, like our last slide disappeared. We were supposed to have a business slide. I don't know what happened here, but...
Small technical issue.
Yeah. Are the questions later, or what is supposed to...
Yeah. If the jury members would like to react, quick question, remarks?
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Gerhard Müller from the Technical University in Munich. So my question would be, where do you start and where do you finish with the involved stakeholders? Do you start with the individual with his consumption attitude on one hand side, and do you finish with politics, or do you start rather with those who are in the business of distribution, and how holistically is your chain designed? That would be first question. And the second one, is it rather a logistic issue, a political issue, or let's say a societal issue where you see the principal challenges for your approach?
That was a really good and also, you can say, complex question. It also has a complex answer. And for this format of only 3 minutes, it was a little difficult for us to...
That's right. Sorry. Just make it in a nutshell.
Because the issues are many. There are both political issues in terms of how do we actually define recycling. There are political issues inside Denmark that you can say motivated this case that has led to change. So you can say, where do we start? I think right now we start where no one is starting, and that is with the companies who are utilizing the wrong supply chains. So we're talking to the solution providers who are sitting with newly developed technology that is, on paper at least, in the news research, a better solution, and they're sitting with companies who are not utilizing this. So we are talking to, you can say, the companies within the cities who are not utilizing the correct supply chains. And then we are hoping at least that the political climate right now is going to push the other agendas, because that is what seems to be happening.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you very much. If maybe someone else from the jury still has a small, short question or remark.
If I may, Ahti from Tallinn. The problem with recycling plastic is often that it's so light and transportation costs are so enormous. So that how to transport efficiently so that it's somehow able to sustain itself as an economic process.
Yeah, we agree. And that's also, again, within the given time constraint, we were showing what our solution does. One of the things that motivated us to look this way is that we found the same issue very early in our process, that transportation of a very light material is highly problematic, especially over the distances they're going today. But the solutions are there. They are being developed container-sized, pyrolysis, recycling, you can say recycling, I'm just looking for plants, that can be, you can say, pushed out locally to the waste producers, to the cities, so we avoid the transportation issues of today. And it's one of those types of solutions that we would like to highlight, because it's kind of crazy that the solutions are there on the market today, the motivation to use them are there, but nothing is happening. That's why we went with this brokerage to say, you actually need just a really good system for people to compare what the solution is better than others, instead of just jumping into the supply chains that are already existing, because they are going to break in the future, because the countries that we are sending the plastic to today are starting to turn against this, like we saw with China a couple of years back. The same tendencies are happening other places, so it's likely that maybe Turkey or Malaysia is going to say, we don't want your waste anymore. And I don't think we should sit on our hands in Europe and wait for this to happen. We should take control and say, okay, how do we actually design a sustainable plastic infrastructure within the EU that is focused on reducing the insane transportation of really light materials? So again, really good questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have to close this first block now to move on to the next presentation. So thank you for your presentation and answers. And also thank you, jury members, for your questions. And now we move on to the next theme, Site Vision. So please, Site Vision, you have the floor.
Hello. Let us just find the slides and then we can get started. Looks like the previous team lost one slide, but we have lost all slides when it comes to sharing the presentation. Ah, that's your slide.
Excellent. So please go ahead.
No, that's the previous team slide. There we go. There's ours. All right. Hello to you all. I'm Rene from Site Vision. Did you know that 1/3 of the world's waste originates from construction? In the EU alone, that is 800 billion kilograms of waste every year. And thus the European Commission has designated construction waste as a priority stream. A typical construction site involves hundreds of workers, from painters to plumbers, new deliveries of material arriving all the time. Sometimes deliveries are late, weather changes, workers fall ill. So it's no wonder that keeping track of all the bricks, stores, plumbing, and so on the site is time-consuming and error-prone, which leads to building delays, unsorted and missorted waste, and the disposal of perfectly good building material because it was somewhere on the building site, but whoever was supposed to use it couldn't find it and just was lost. We have a solution to make material tracking on medium and large-scale construction faster, cheaper, and more reliable. You will attach a 360-degree camera to your helmet, walk through the construction site, and if you do so, for example, every Friday, you will get a complete, up-to-date overview on the state of the construction site at that moment. The main focus of Site Vision is to look into the data extraction part of this. We build object detection algorithms that provide up-to-date locations of raw materials on site, from doors to pipes to bricks and everything else. And for the site manager at a construction, we complement progress tracking tools and provide an up-to-date overview of what's happening on the site. I know how many square meters of plasterboard have been installed on the wall, but now I can also see whether there is some kind of leftover. Is there some kind of waste? Is it still lying on the floor next to the wall? Has it been taken to the recycling container? Or perhaps it could be used instead to construct another wall on another floor instead. And last, let me introduce you to our team. Our CEO, Risto, has studied construction management and he's actually working with digital solutions at Nordicon every week. He could not be here today presenting because he got married yesterday. My name is Rene. I study business information technology and work as a product manager of productivity tools. And finally, we have Elina taking care of marketing, but her second passion is electrical and electronics engineering. Our ambition is to be the most reliable decision-making assistant for construction sites. And I mean, in the end, we still don't have a reliable overview of construction waste. So we also want to help measure how much material usage there actually is on construction sites and how much waste there actually is. Because so far, all we have in the EU is estimates. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to Risto for getting married. Please, members of the jury, if you like to ask a question or have a remark, go ahead.
May I just one question? So thank you very much for this interesting presentation. What is your, let's say, that's perspective? Because you have to collect data somehow from the pictures, and you have to assign the data to products actually. So what would be your vision? How much time does it take until the system has learned sufficiently in order to be a good decision-making assistant on construction sites? So there is one part, I think, is the data itself, but one part is also the adaptation to the individual construction sites. Or probably I didn't understand everything perfectly.
I thought you got the gist of it. Basically, there are already companies who are doing the capture part. There are also already companies who are doing, like building information models on how much of the building is already finished. And what we're then doing is taking all the part that isn't the building itself and looking at, hey, what do we have on the construction site that is not the final product? And obviously the data processing needs to be fast. How long will it take us to get up to speed and be good enough to be able to scan most of the materials? I don't have an answer for that. But then again, companies are already doing the imaging part. And by just having the imaging of the site, just having images, that is already useful, because if you want to check out what is happening on a part of the site, then you don't have to walk there and walk back, which would take a lot of time. Then you remember, oh, I forgot to check this wall, then you need to go back again. So the imaging is already being done. On our side, we are not in a hurry to get up to speed too quick. We can get the data already.
Thank you very much. Maybe another question from the jury?
I have a question, if I may, Henry. It's Julia speaking.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question in the relationship between the construction site and the environment around. So you mentioned that one of the benefits is the reducing waste. If you consider other benefits for the people around this, let's say this space and area in which your action for leave no waste behind is will be performed, not just in terms of waste reduction, but there will be any other benefits that you have considered, or have you talked to potential stakeholders in this area? Thank you.
Do I understand correctly that your question is like, what are the local benefits around the construction site?
Yes, perfectly.
We have not looked into this at all. We're looking only at the construction site and only at the flow of materials. But when it comes to what's happening next to the construction site, then no, that is not hasn't been our concern so far. Obviously, one of the things that is also important on a construction site is making sure that the material is stored according to, on one hand, safety rules, making sure that you don't, store timber next to the heater, which is a fire hazard. And I guess this could also, be extended to, how the storage affects other people around the construction site. So making sure that, I don't know, perhaps even making sure that we are storing the materials on the construction site and not on the in the garden of the neighbor. So that yeah, we could consider, but we haven't looked into it. No.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe one more remark or question from the jury?
May I have a short remark or some kind of question?
Yes, please.
For the team. Do you think also about logistic on the site logistic of the material, because you also could reduce amount of energy and time for transporting materials within the construction site?
So your microphone is distorting a little. But are you asking about on-site or off-site logistics?
On-site logistic.
On-site, right. So yeah, for those who are not familiar with construction sites, yeah, one of the bigger issues that we're tackling is, yeah, on-site logistics. You get a lot of material, they arrive on the site, but then you need to, yeah, take them further to the exact room where they will be, I don't know, built into the wall or whatever. But I'm sorry, what exactly was your question? Have we considered it, or?
Yeah, if you consider this also the on-site logistics.
Yes, we have. That is a big part of it, and a lot like construction is currently very inefficient. So this means that 50, 60, 70, 80% of the time of a construction worker is spent not on actually being there building something, but walking around looking for material, walking around looking for a thing that they can work on, visiting the toilet and so on. So one of the things that we can improve with this is always knowing where is the material, and this means that, yeah, you don't have to walk around on the construction site looking for it. As a construction worker, perhaps, yeah, we can build an app that you open up, say, okay, I need a window for this hole here, and it would tell you where the window is. And next step, yeah, the actual logistics part, then we actually start looking at, yeah, where was this window built into the wall, and where was it before that, and can we optimize that? So that is part of it, yes, and that is also, I think, one of the biggest benefits on the non-waste side that we're hoping to tackle, making sure that you don't have to go around looking for stuff to build with, but we could pilot as close as possible and as efficiently as possible.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think we have run out of time now for this block of the presentation. So Site Vision, thank you very much for your presentation and answering the questions. Thank you, jury. And now we move to the next project team. And the next project team is called Asura. So please, Asura, you have the floor.
So, hello all. Hello? Yeah, am I
Hello,
audible
yes,
now?
we see you and we hear you.
Okay, that's good. So, we all like pizza, don't we? But imagine if you had the toppings, the cheese, the sauce, but didn't actually have the base for it. Well, that's the situation at the municipality of Eindhoven right now. There are multiple service providers operating separately from each other and providing the municipality with streams and streams of data. And handling this data is a task for the municipality. They're actually seeking for the mentioned pizza base here, and this information has been validated by us. And where do they go for the base, you ask? Well, they come to us, Asura. Asura, as an integration and management company, aims to aid the municipalities towards the SDGs through our controlled smart control systems. Our service offers you empathetic, safe, and ambient human-centered lighting as a solution to the cities. With this, we actually act as the pizza base mentioned. When you consider a street, the lighting around you will adapt to the social atmosphere. The system will consider the already existing sensors, the cameras, and the lighting will change its operating characteristics to suit you. And to actually give you the ownership, it also has an interactive design.
Yes, so to peek a bit into the old system, so how does it look at the moment? As you can see, all those companies, they provide like the municipality a different service that actually targets a certain problem. However, they are all disconnected from each other. And actually, as Palaj already mentioned, this has been validated by the municipality of Eindhoven. So what do they actually need? They don't need a smart system alone. They need an integrated smart management system. And that's where we, Asura, are actually stepping into. So how are we going to execute this? As you can see, we have provided you an amazing roadmap at the moment. So we already have the partners on board. And now we have the partners we're going to pilot. We are actually going to target the region Blixenbos-Oost in Eindhoven, here in the Woensel North. And when we have actually validated the system, so it actually works, have improved it, we're going to scale up to other cities in the Netherlands, show them how relevant this project is, obviously, and then go to the EU. And what do we want to do with the EU? We want to provide our network to them and actually connect, enlighten each other, and become a whole amazing place and create the public lighting all together for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So I open the floor for the jury to react.
Henry, I have a question, if I may. Sorry, it's Julia. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. My question regards your mapping and how much do you think that the mapping and the considerations of the missing links that you did can be considered as the same in other cities? Or does it depend on the size of the city of Eindhoven? So for the same cities, for the same size cities, it's going to be the same, and then you have to redo this mapping design process, or not? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. So actually, every city has a different provider, so like different service providers. And what we have noticed, so already identified within Eindhoven, because of these disconnected services, basically, the data that's like collected by the municipality does not match with each other. To give an example, yesterday night, I was working hard for this project. I was tired, and the light was actually literally, like the weekend says, blinding me. So, and having this experience at the citizen itself, we can see how this disconnected system reflects into the current system of the municipality. We already have talked to other municipalities which encountered like similarities, and actually a study done in Sweden for my Swedish audience here, in the municipality of Uppsala, they actually have shown that when you have already implement just alone like one smart system, you actually save up to 1.4 million of Swedish crowns, which roughly translates to 960,000 euros per year only. So there is already a smart system, but by implying the integrated one that we are like enhancing on, we can even save up even more. So to answer that, indeed, every city has like a different system, and to adapt our methodology to that system. So I hope it answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, other jury members.
Just one question. You mentioned a number now for a limited city. Do you have any perspective? What would be the number of money you save in case of spreading out over a country like the Netherlands or even larger Europe?
I think that would be like a calculation that we need to make. So the estimations at the point, if I would say something now, that would be a flaw, to be honest. I would need the numbers according to the municipalities, the different cities, and then I could give you a concrete answer.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Maybe one more question from the jury, if there is one. Okay, it seems
just
not.
a quick one. Ahti from Tallinn. What is the technological readiness level, TRL, for this project right now?
I'm sorry, like the technological?
Technical readiness level, yeah, TRL. You know, at what stage of the development you see this project now being in terms of technology, and maybe in the near future?
As far as the technology is concerned, I feel up to 75% of it is already present in the system. We do have the required sensors and the smart system in place. We do not have an, hello there. Yes. We do not have an integrated base system, but to enhance the technology even more, there would be more and more detailed data analysis. That would be one of the major technological readiness that we have to do as a company. But as far as the hardware is concerned, most of it already exists, and we as a company would look forward to actually integrating that into our system.
Thank you very much. Unless there are further questions, then we can close this session for Asura. Thank you very much for your presentation and your answers. And now we switch to the new project called Vertigrow. So Vertigrow, please, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. We're Team Vertigrow. The human population has doubled in the past 45 years and continues to grow exponentially. We face a challenge of ensuring food security while global yield is predicted to decrease by 17% by year 2050. Increase in temperature, CO2 levels, and drought negatively affect crop productivity. And human activity further magnifies the issue by contributing to climate change, water shortages, and land desertification. Additionally, 40% of food is wasted globally along the supply chain or due to overproduction. So how do we want to achieve food security, especially in the urban settings, while rationally consuming the resources? Here we come in with our solution. We developed a three-part strategy. With our green strategy, we cut down supply chain CO2 emissions, grow 8 times more produce within the same area, and use up to 80 to 90% less water compared to traditional agriculture. The lean strategy will eradicate the disconnect between farmers and the consumers. And by increasing the awareness, we can reduce overproduction and promote consumption according to the need. Finally, our third solution, Clean, is to ensure access to healthy and delicious food all year round by growing in a controlled environment in close proximity to living spaces.
Vertical farming is not a new concept. Traditionally, you will find commercial facilities with stacked shelves from floor to ceiling. Like in the top picture, a 2x2 grow area with a maintenance aisle stacked 4 meters high is 2.6 times more efficient than field growing. And that's really cool. But by flipping our same growing area on the y-axis, as seen in the bottom picture, we increase space efficiency without ever climbing a ladder or using heavy equipment. We don't need a warehouse. Perhaps a room, wall, rooftop terrace, or an office building will do. Phase 1 of our project is to build our vertical farm module on TUM campus and produce fresh food year-round, while simultaneously creating transparency in the campus food system and supply chain. Here, students from different backgrounds can get hands-on experience in sustainable urban gardening and conduct research to develop further innovations. We provide guidance through a handbook and expand this concept to other universities who want to demonstrate their commitment to sustainability and become an advocate for innovative technology. In phase 2, we move on to urban communities, apartments, and shared living spaces. We turn unused spaces into productive spaces, both outdoors and indoors. We scale up or down. Our prototype alone will be able to sustain 10 households with fresh food all year round. Phase 3, we want to have an impact on policies. Currently, there are very little policies and regulations regarding vertical farming, so long-term solutions are greatly needed. Vertical farming is a complementary method of growing crops, leaving no waste behind. Thank you for listening, and we're Vertigrow.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So please, jury members, for your feedback and questions.
May I ask one question? So thank you for this interesting presentation. Is there a rough number how large is the size in terms of square meters per person in order to supply the person with which percentage of the food he or she needs? Is there some number which is easy to be communicated to other people? You said 10 households for this system.
You have that statistic on lettuce consumed per year?
So we found out that average German For now, we're focusing on Germany. Average German consumes 2.5 kilograms of lettuce and salad a year. So our prototype, what was our area?
Our area, 2 by 1.3.
Right. We have 20 grow towers, and we are planning to grow around 150 kilograms of lettuce a year. So by doing some calculations and taking that average household, probably like 4 people, we thought that, yeah, around 10 households can be supplied with this.
That's very significant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe other questions or remarks by the jury members?
May I ask one question about taking into account also energy needs of this concept, and how to water amount of the water needs to be put into the hydroponic concept in comparison to traditional base agriculture?
Didn't quite hear the question.
If you take into account energy consumption of your prototype,
yeah,
or per person.
Per person?
Yeah.
Still didn't hear the whole question. Did you hear the whole question?
I think the question was
you
about
compare your prototype,
yeah,
the energy consumption.
Yeah.
If you take into account with the traditional based logistic of agriculture, yeah.
Gotcha.
What's the ratio between them?
Okay.
Yeah. So energy consumption, of course, with LED lights involved in this is still an issue. That's one of the innovations that's still needed for it, hence why we need more research being done with it. However, there are ways to essentially make this a lot more sustainable using solar or wind energy. If we can supplement the grid with some of those sources, over time it becomes much, much more sustainable.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Are there other questions or remarks from the jury?
I have a question, if I may, Henry. It's Julia here. Thank you for your presentation and your idea. Question is for the connection of your vertical walls of farming. Have you thought of connecting them in order to collect data from them, or your project is to make people acting in a different way by putting them into situations which they can, but there is no data collection over the time?
Well, connecting those communities would be ideal. We're starting with prototype on one of our campuses. That will be our starting point for collecting data. We will already have a student platform which is called Plant a Seed, where people coming together to learn about urban gardening, sustainable agricultural practices, etc. So we're starting with the first prototype, and we want to expand further to different universities, like introduce our system to them and further connect them and all collaborate on this project, because still there's so much work needs to be done. And I believe that our student community can be actually the first step to amplifying the knowledge, the idea, bringing more people to it, different disciplines. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions or remarks from the jury? Okay, I guess not. So thank you very much, Vertigro, for your presentation. And let's move on to the next team. The next team is called EBoost for Grid. So EBoost for Grid, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are power engineers from CTU in Prague, and my name is Marek.
My name is Andrej.
And we're presenting EBoost for Grid, a revolutionary approach for the expansion of EV charging infrastructure in Prague. First, let me paint you a picture. Last Wednesday, the European Union Parliament passed a law that's starting from 2035, it will be outlawed to sell any combustion cars in the EU. We also have the energy transition moving towards renewable energy. That is a beautiful vision for the politicians. But this also introduces a lot of grid instability and seasonality, and for us engineers, that's insane. But maybe just maybe, there's a solution, right, Anya?
Exactly, Mark. And this is the solution, EBoost for Grid. With our sleek design, it makes basically the modern infrastructure the best way how to apply it. Yeah, that's EBoost for Grid. And there are some technical key points. It's not only smart, like, the chargers and the public light system. It's ambient. It's flexible. As Mark said, like the renewable energy sources, that comes with huge instability. But with our solution and the dynamic load system management that comes on board with every charger, we try to flatten the load curve. And it's affordable. We come up with revolutionary synergy between the providers, the distributors of the energy, and the public light systems. So we don't have to dig twice into the ground.
And as we are engineers, we're not selling you dreams. These are real technical solutions that are already being implemented in Prague, and this is actually a real design that we will be using.
Exactly. And about the feasibility, we plan to use the exact same infrastructure, not only the cables, but actually the public light system as well as the base. It's easy to integrate. We already chatted with many different distributors of the energy, and it should be applicable for more than 75% of the European cities. And we are not only trying to lever the costs, the emissions, but it also is a great business opportunity for you to earn money.
That sounds great, Anya. So to summarize, we have outlined how the e-mobility is a big opportunity, but also a huge potential crisis for the European developments. However, using EBoost for Grid, we have created a perfect solution that is cost-effective and will help us with this energy transition that we all work towards, hope for, and we all want.
Wow.
Thank you so much for your attention, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dear members of the jury, do you have questions or remarks?
Well, if I may ask the question, I think the idea to use the infrastructure on one hand side, which exists together with this charging infrastructure, is a very, very well immediate one, actually. So, are there any challenges concerning the electric supply in general if you scale up the automotive, let's say the cars in the city into, let's say, 80% of electric mobility? What are the further challenges you have to cope with in order to combine those two systems?
Yes, of course, there are many challenges, and as engineers, we are ready to face them. So actually, we did an analysis of charger expansion. So based on the expected number of electric vehicles in Prague, we estimate that by 2040, we will need almost 100,000 chargers. And then the logical question is, can this actually fit into the lampposts? Well, in Prague, specifically, this is possible because we have more than 135,000 public lampposts that we can use. And of course, this will be complemented with other charging solutions like in large parking lots, etc. So this is not a huge challenge, or basically we have already solved it and addressed it. Another thing is, of course, lamps do not require that much energy. If you have a standard lamp, that you cannot really charge an electric vehicle with that. But the ingenious part of our plan is that currently it's extremely hard to put in new cables into, especially in city centers. It's a long process, etc. But we already created a strategy plan and an action plan with the distributor of energy in Prague. So every time they open up the sidewalks to put in new cables, they already put in the cables that are EV charger ready. So we estimate that in 10 years, we will be able to cover the entirety of Prague, and we'll be able to upgrade all of the 135,000 public lampposts into the EV chargers. And this is completely unique. We have not seen any project like this in other large cities in Europe, but of course, we'll be happy to expand it starting in Prague, which so far has been a tremendous success.
Exactly. That's the synergy we were talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions or remarks by the jury, please?
Arti from Tallinn. Let me ask about the safety aspect of this. How about the hazards, the fire regulations? Do you see problems in passing the, the regulatory aspects of this, the politics of getting this done?
This is, of course, another challenge we have been addressing with talks with the distributors. So we have been solving the technical challenge and then facing, the implications of technology policy. What we figured out, for example, is that it would be impossible to have the lighting system and the charging system separate, because as you say, it would be a fire hazard, and you would have two operators of two power systems in one lamppost. So if there was an accident, you would have to coordinate, and it would be too complicated. So instead, we will be converting the lighting systems of the lamppost as well to be able to run on the high voltage system that we will be using for the EV chargers as well, which is preferred and required by the fire brigades in Prague. And we believe the same solution would be applicable to the other cities, because basically fire and regulatory challenges will be quite aligned, we expect, in various cities across Europe.
Thank you very much.
I have another question, if there is time, Henry.
There is time, yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, EBoost for Grid. My question regards the public space. If you're transforming the lamps into a charging station, it means that you are interrupting the flow on the public road at some point. Have you considered this, that you need the cars to stop for a moment, and this let's say this space is now probably a flowing space now?
So this is highly individual. Of course, some lampposts might be next to a highway. Those are probably not the lampposts we will be using for the chargers. The lampposts we are targeting are in the city center next to parking spaces. So that's our approach, how to massively scale the electric charging infrastructure in the center of Prague or in any city, because that is the main challenge. How do we respond to this anticipated electric vehicle boom? Of course, outside of the city center, it's much easier because we have large parking spaces, for example, for people that go to the city for work. And there we can build large charging hubs. But there we don't really need to bother with the street lamps, and we can do something much more cheaper and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, there are like 130,000 lamps in Prague, but not all of them are close to the parking spots. So, but there are like 30,000 according to the resources and from the data we got from the distributor. So if we only use those 30,000 lamps, it would be enough to fulfill the plan that the government of Prague has in terms of electromobility.
Okay, thank you very much. Very clear. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Unless there are further questions from the jury. Patrick, maybe? Then we can continue with the next project. So EBoost for Grid, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for your time.
Now we move to the next project called Cirque Heat. So please, Cirque Heat, you have the floor. Cirque Heat, we can see you, but we don't hear you.
Now?
Now we hear you.
Okay. Hi, we're Cirque Heat, and we have collaborated with Viessmann in improving the end of life of their products. Viessmann currently has 11.5 million oil and gas systems in Germany alone, and they're going to be mainly replaced with heating pumps by 2045. The fully functional heating systems are currently replaced, fully functioning when they're decommissioned, and the current end of life is shredded by local scrap dealers who pays the technicians a finder's fee. So why is this a big challenge? This is the... Okay, yeah. So why is this a big challenge? This is a big challenge because... Is this working? Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. And this is a really large challenge as we have... Also, sorry, I messed this up. Oh, well, yeah, this is a large challenge as there's a lack of lack of control of the end of life, and the economic viability is really hard to achieve. And next slide, please. So what we've tried to propose to solve this is try to streamline the whole process, and we achieve this with a locking app where we capture key information on the heating systems which facilitate higher circularity when in a processing system. Also found that key barrier was actually finding a way to pay the installers and keeping them in the systems, as they're currently interested in dealing with the metal recyclers. Next slide, please. So our proposal is that we take back the things and then we do three things. We sell the functional components back to the original manufacturers or on the free market if they're fit for use. And the other components that are usable for internal reuse, we refurbish. And the rest is meticulously sorted into fractions. And here we sell them for fraction-specific recycling, which improves the end of life and is our main income. Well, that's, of course, just the first step. But implementing a take-back system of this size is a giant endeavor, and it's really hard. Next slide, please. And this is why we propose really starting regionally and then trying to scale it up from there. And there's many ways of doing it, and we have outlined a lot of different ways, and these are just a few of them. And there we've proposed that you really start with the minimum viable system, and then you scale it up when it works. So for example, instead of starting with the locking app, start with something simple like a paper, and when it works and you figure it out, you develop the right app the right way the first time around. And then the next slide. And our proposal is in line with a lot of trends. For example, the EU plans on improving the materials circularity rate in the EU by 2 times by 2030. And we really help doing this. It's 11.5 million, 100 kilos heavy heating systems. It's a lot of material. And we can really help do this. And we can also, with the increasing material prices, actually break even. And that's why our solution is both strategically, sustainably, and economically interesting. And we hope to turn all of this waste into gold. Thank you so much. Oh. And I would love to take any questions.
Marks.
Okay.
Are there any questions or remarks from the jury? Yes, please.
Yeah, probably one question. So this is thank you for this presentation. This is a very also obvious, I think, approach. I would like to know, you have been cooperating very closely with the company Viessmann here in this concept. Could you elaborate 2 words on what is your part, your ideas brought into this project, and what was very much, let's say, inspired probably by questions of the company? Could you say some words about that?
Yeah, so they've had a lot of, they actually have a take-back system today that's completely failed and doesn't really get used that much because there's no reason for the installers to actually use it. So a lot of their other circularity and sustainability initiatives just fail initially because they don't really have the capability to control their end-of-life cycle. And that was really what we were brought in to do, to help doing. But it's like a very complex system because it has to fit for like 20, 30 years of old products, never designed for it, and it has to fit with all of the modern heat pumps and photovoltaic heating systems in the future. They're very excited because it really just outlined a lot of the solution space for it, and that they actually see that, oh, it can actually maybe pay for itself and not be a cost driver necessarily.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or remarks from the jury, please?
Maybe just short question. Do you consider the price of the whole system?
Oh, yeah.
The financial needs of this?
Sorry? yeah, so a little bit about the price about it, that if you only do like the metal material recycling and just sell things there and sort it out and do that, you're going to lose money. We need to do all three things. We need to sell things back to the original equipment manufacturers. Here we've talked to, for example, Grundfos, who was also interested in collaborating with that because it's their pumps that are sitting in these products. And you can start earning around 5 to 10 euros per heating system if you really streamline it. But in the beginning, you're going to lose money. But then you get all of the other great capabilities, like that you can say that you're actually reusing the same materials and the same components. So it's really to start out now, because the waste problem is happening now, and we need to really actually decouple and decommission these oil and gas systems for obvious reasons. But let's hope there comes some good incentive schemes from the EU and so on to help it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. If there are no more questions from the jury, then we thank Cirque Heat team very much for their presentation and your answers. And we move to the next presentation of grocery package service. So please, grocery package service, you have the floor. After that, we will switch to the card boxer project, so you can prepare.
All right, hello. So right after start, I'm gonna start with the context. So this project was started in the context of Estonia's supermarkets, where there are ready-made food aisles. You can also see it on the first picture here. So basically, you can take food, put it into a single-use package, and buy it. And we all know that single-use packages are like a huge problem. It's absurd. And luckily, the stores do have a solution for that, but this is where our problem comes in. So when you are using your own package, you are actually paying more money because your own container weighs more. And in this case, from the total price of the product, about 11% comes from the container. And this is where our solution comes in, which is a service that has incorporated a NFC sticker. Now, what this sticker does is it pre-records the weight of the package, allowing it to be subtracted during checkout. And as you can see on the graph here, how it works is when you come to the store, you basically register your container. You get the sticker, you put the sticker on the container, and now you can use this container in the store cycle. So every time you go there, you can use the same box. But that's not all. So what this sticker essentially does is it creates an initial infrastructure for the store to use in further developments. For example, if the store wants to get rid of single-use packages altogether, they can find an alternative, and they can use this system for like a rental service, because the sticker acts as a unique identifier for each package, meaning the vending machine could use different size packages easily. And also it assists with the stock management and keeps a registry of the users. The impact, so we calculated from one local chain, and in the first year, this would save around €500,000 and 1,400 tons of greenhouse gases. And after 5 years, these numbers would go a lot. So it would save around €3,300,000 and 8,500 tons. So to find a more sustainable future, we just have to stick to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So please, members of the jury, your reactions and questions, please.
May I ask one question? So this is certainly also an issue for the protection of personal data of the users. Could you say some words about that? Because collecting data from private persons is an issue in Europe with regarding many aspects. So could you say something about that?
Yes, so this is not data about the user. It's more about how much food is being used or bought from the store to get because it contains the information of how big the package is, so they can have more accurate estimations of how much food they need to prepare in the food.
So it's anonymous. It's anonymous, everything what you do regarding the users.
Sorry?
It is anonymous regarding the users?
Yeah, it is anonymous, and the reason for this is that it will actually reduce food waste because they have more accurate estimation of how much food they need to produce every day.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions, perhaps?
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I wonder how many clients bring their own containers and can bring their own containers, for various reasons. So have you estimated this? I wonder if there at the end should be something like a negative price tag attached to these stickers, so that it's like recycling a bottle kind of thing. So some incentive for customers to actually bring their own containers.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the sticker has a small price, so the customer would get charged 50 cents to €1, and they can keep reusing the same sticker over and over again. They don't have to get like a new sticker. And the incentive for the customer is that if the store eventually would try to get rid of single-use packages altogether, then it's a bit more convenient than using the deposit system. That was the essential idea.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Thank you very much.
I have another question, if possible.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Always reasoning on how to make people adopting it, because it's a matter of getting responsible at an individual scale. Have you thought of any measures if the persons throw away the box with the sticker on it? So the incentives are not to throw it away, not just coming back, and I incentivize you in coming back, but also there are consequences if you throw this away, because this sticker allows the package to be tracked if someone finds it in another place. Have you considered this, or?
No, we didn't have any tracking, but the sticker would just basically be used for your own like high quality containers. So you wouldn't really throw them away because, you know, it's something that you paid for. It's probably quite expensive, and we don't have like the tracking. But for the deposit system, there is, so essentially in the deposit system, you don't return the package. You would basically, after some time, you would buy out the package essentially, and then later you could return it and get the money back. But in the meantime, yeah, you get charged the next time you go to the store.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the jury, please?
Maybe just one short question. Do you consider your system as a universal platform or something like this? Because that's also there's always an issue if different companies and supermarkets use different systems.
So yeah, because it was quite local, usually one store chain in Estonia has one food producer, and this one producer, they have pretty similar practices, so it's quite easy to implement it into different chains. They just need to have the basis that they do have the ready-made food section in the stores. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's an important point how to motivate customers to bring their own container if they choose different stores and something like this.
Yeah, this actually came from our interviews. So we found out that actually most people are actually interested in trying to use their own packages in our research group. And they were all really sad that they didn't really have alternatives, or if they did, they felt like they were punished for these actions that they're doing. So like what we found out is that people are looking for alternatives and just that stores won't offer them at the moment. So that's what we base this all off.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. You may believe it or not, but we already had 7 presentations behind us. So Team Grocery Package Service, thank you very much for your presentation and your answers. And now we go to the next 7 and the second half of the presentations of today. So the next project that will be presented is Cardboxer. So please, Cardboxer, you have the floor, and after that will be Advance.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
There are 1 million e-commerce orders every day in Netherlands, and each order is packed in a corrugated packaging. These 1 million cardboards emit 150 tons of carbon dioxide. This is 5,000 trees being slaughtered every day. And these are just the numbers of Netherlands. Presently, you order a book online. And when you get the package, you unpack it and throw it away. It is a long way for the cardboard to be recycled, using more resources on each step. For every 100 orders you place, the cardboard packaging emits 57 kilograms of carbon dioxide, and it costs an e-commerce company like Bol.com approximately 127 euros. Imagine you order 2 to 3 times a month, and cardboard is starting to pile up at your home. You need a new system. We Cardboxer are offering a circular solution. We sell reusable packaging to e-commerce, and as the customer, you will have the option to actively choose to get your orders delivered in our packages. With the next order, you will hand in the previous package to the delivery person, which will be transported to the e-commerce company. For Bol.com, the price is reduced to 70 euros and 45% decrease and a carbon dioxide emission from 57 to 14 kilograms, which is approximately 75% reduction. The calculation has been made with polypropylene. However, other materials could also live up to the characteristics. Based on the interviews with Bol.com, we estimated that around 2,000 packages are delivered every day in Eindhoven. Bol.com would purchase it from Cardboxer for 20 euro, and the customer will pay a deposit of 2 euro at the checkout. The customer receives the deposit back once it reaches Bol.com. There are 2 aspects to the solution, a system and a packaging. Our primary focus has been to set up the system in place, and thus we have prepared a small prototype for the packaging part. The Cardboxer packages will be made out of recyclable material and secured with a locking mechanism. It will be resistant to heat. It will last at least 100 cycles and will be easy to clean. The packages will be collapsible, fit most common sizes of books, electronics, and clothing, and will take minimum space for reverse transports as well as at your home. Together, let us make a systematic, sustainable change by moving to reusable packaging. So why recycle when you can reuse? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Dear members of the jury, have you questions, remarks?
I have a question.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Many questions and remarks.
Should I go? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I have a question on the end of life of this package. So it's you said that you have 100 cycles of reuse. What happens after the 100 cycles? I mean, it's your system involves someone taking care of those collapsible boxes for recycling one more time, because it comes already from a recycled material, or the users are doing something. Who takes the actions to make then it's fully circular? Thank you.
Well, first of all, we thought that the material we are going to use for this packaging will be recycled, but also we thought about using an alternative that can also be recyclable. So one option after the 100 cycles could be to recycle the material to create new packages. But on the other hand, even though we don't have like super like right decision yet, we thought that we could give the packaging a second life, like so for the user to use it for another kind of solution purpose. Yeah. I hope I answered.
I have a question regarding the costs and the cost for the cleaning of the packages. Could you say some words about that? So what is related? So for this you went from 127 to 70. So cleaning is included, and could you say something about that?
Yeah, so our current estimate on cleaning would be 25 cents per packaging. So this gets cleaned in every cycle. So we have also devised a technique of how we plan to clean the packages as well. So there are like 3 stages the package could go through. One is a top level cleaning, one is an intense cleaning, or the next one is just to replace the package because it has more damages. So yeah, that is what our current plan is.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure there was another question. If not, then I was mistaken. Okay, thank you very much. No more questions? Good. Then Cardboxer team, thank you very much for your presentation. And now we move to the next presentation, the project Advan.se, or Advance. Please, you have the floor.
In the past decades, derelict medical imaging devices have caused some of the world's worst nuclear accidents. For example, the infamous Guyana accident in 1987 resulted in the death of 4, the contamination of over 200 people, and generated about 5,000 square meters of contaminated waste. Now imagine if your company was responsible for one of these accidents. Our challenge giver, Siemens, told us that 41% of their imaging devices are currently unaccounted for. These lost devices do not only present an environmental and social harm, but also an economical loss, since valuable resources cannot be recovered. Siemens challenged us to keep these devices visible, to extend their life cycle, and to ensure a proper end-of-life management.
We identified the linear status quo as cause for these disasters. So we developed 3 modules that lead Siemens Healthineers to circularity. First and most central are the business-to-business partners. One current problem is the missing infra-OEM structure in remote countries. The business-to-business partner addressed this lack. Being certified by the OEM and provided with knowledge and the right tools, the business-to-business partner are the start of a reverse logistics network. The business-to-business partner are then responsible for repairing, refurbishing, reusing, and dismantling in the respective countries. Secondly, it is essential to address an existing knowledge gap for the right end-of-life path. For this, we set up a digital platform where we provide a database where customers, partners, and the OEM itself can exchange key information about the devices. Another problem are already saturated markets in developed countries. By introducing a device as a service model, where devices are not sold, but services are being bought, we ensure a higher level of traceability and open up second-hand markets. Here you can see the current linear model, where the end of life remains unclear and devices are being lost. Implementing our 3 modules for circularity, we close the loops. The business-to-business partner are the key stakeholders in creating the new value. With our new business model, we minimize the environmental damage, the harm done to the communities, and the economic loss by keeping the resources in the loop. We facilitate new ways of cooperation with the business-to-business partners and our digital platform, by this ensuring a proper end-of-life treatment for medical imaging devices.
Our 3 modules to circularity will alter the linear business model of Siemens Healthineers to a circular one by closing the loops. Based on feedback from Siemens, we are proud to state that our solution will in fact solve the problem in a practical and implementable way. Our solution is cost-effective, consumer-oriented, and economically attractive for Siemens and for coming certified partners all over the world. It can be implemented in linear business model of the medtech, but also in other industries. The high scalability of our solution is its main benefit. Now it's up to you to give us the chance to join manufacturers all over the world in their journey towards a circular economy for all of us. If you are interested in more insights, we are happy to provide you with more information. Thank you for listening, and we are happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. So please, dear jury members, your answers and questions, please.
If I may just a quick one to begin with, is what are the real reasons these devices get lost or out of use? Is it because of the enormous license costs that Siemens and others impose on these devices, so that those who purchase cannot actually continue using them, or try to get rid of them or sell them in the black market, or what happens?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So at the moment, the devices being lost means that they are not available to Siemens as a company, and they are not traceable. So yes, there are already structures out there, but they are not like a holistic approach to a circular end-of-life path. So what we want to do is build up on these existing structures and just handing out more instruments and more knowledge and more tools to further grow on this, and then get essentially closing the loops and get the resources and valuable materials that are already out there back in the loop. That's it in a nutshell. Or do you want to add something?
And of course, you're right, there is kind of a black market at the moment, and that's part of the problem, because these black markets prevent Siemens from being responsible until the end of life of a device. So with our solution, we are able to at least partially minimize this black market, because at least in remote countries where we have this problem with black markets, we are able with our certified partners now to address whatever the customer needs. I hope this answers your questions.
Yeah, may I ask a very general question? What is your personal perspective on the future of such devices? Is the selling of such devices the model of the future, or would you qualify at a certain level of a device that in general we should move globally to just the device as a service model in order to be sure that we close the loops? Could you say some words about that, or for which products would you see this?
Maybe I'll start and you can jump in. Yeah, in an ideal world, obviously, just a device as a service module would be the best solution to this. However, at the moment, we are not able to provide this to every country that is out there. Looking at competitors of Siemens Healthineers, not naming them here, but Philips, they are already using a device as a service module, and it's working for them. We are just going one step further in addressing not only the European market, but also especially remote countries where there is no OEM infrastructure. Building up on that, we are looking forward, and we are hoping that we can maybe create a better future for all of us, where there is only the device as a service module.
Yeah, and just to add maybe a few words also on the applicability to other cases. The transformation that is needed for a circular economy is not only limited to a medtech company, but also to other companies that are already out there in the market and that need to go on this transition. And so we make our first steps, and then just go and, in an ideal case, build up from that a whole holistic circular economy.
Thank you very much. Dear jury members, do you have other questions?
Maybe I have just one question. Have you considered the economic aspects for the user of the medical device, if it's not sold but used as a service, especially in the third world countries, that when the appliances may be used for a longer time than in Europe?
Yeah, so first of all, as we already mentioned, that will be the second step to roll out the whole device as a service project globally. In general, one could say that the need for high quality imaging devices will be out there in every country, and that the incentive to move to newest technology should be like in providing this healthcare also to the patients in the countries, would ultimately be the goal for every hospital worldwide. So we hope that with a device as a service, we can also provide the newest technology and build up from there.
And maybe adding up on that, with our device as a service now starting in the countries where we have infrastructure for Siemens, we are able to, as already mentioned, to provide newer devices on the second-hand market, which then could be used in remote countries. Obviously, by doing this, we are able to provide hospitals in remote countries with newer products, and they can use them longer. And obviously, with our certified partners, we even extend the life cycle of the products with our repair service, our information service, and the training of the physicians in the hospitals.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no more questions or remarks from the jury, then we thank Team Advance for your presentation. Well done. And this closes the block on the consumption challenges that the students worked on. And now we go to the third and last block where the projects are dealing with energy. And the first project... Applause is well deserved for everyone. And the first project that we're going to see in the energy block is photovoltaics on every roof. So please, you have the floor.
Hi everyone, my name is Kamran, and I will today introduce our challenge, which is called PV on every rooftop. First, let me explain what our challenge is. Our challenge is establishing citizen energy communities through all Europe so that we can fasten the conversion to the green energy by introducing the new participant to the game, the citizens, the every European citizen. As our challenge called the PV on every rooftop, we are planning to use the PVs as a renewable energy sources, and they have three big advantages, which is having little to no maintenance cost and having 20 years of the lifetime and being easily adapted to the civil areas. What are main challenges with the PV system? First of all is finding a solution to utilize overflow and unused energy. You may ask, what is the unused energy coming? Where is the unused energy coming from? It is coming because the PV panels producing the energy with the PV panel differs with the consumption of the same power. So we are not able to use our full produced energy at the time we need to use it. There's three options to overcome this challenge. First of them is the using batteries, but they are very economical and efficient, and after a couple of years they become an e-waste. So that's not an option for us. Second is the selling the overflowed energy to the grid and buying back when we needed the energy. But this option is also not economically available because the buying and the selling price of the grid differs greatly. And the third and the final of your preferred way is the sharing the energy, the overflowed energy with the existing community members. The second challenge is designing a fair invoicing settlements for methodology based on the current electricity bill and structure. As you know, if we share the energy, it means you are not going to use the whole energy that you own produced. And if you are not going to use it, the citizens will not going to want to pay for it. In order to overcome this investment cost and the billing policy, we find out a way to make a fair billing. This is based on the unit price of our energy, produced energy with the solar panels. For example, if we are producing the 41.2 kilowatts of energy and house 1 is used the 30 kilowatt of it, it will pay more than the house 2, which use only the 11.2 kilowatts of the PV panels. The last is the main point, our challenge is the making it easier and simpler for every European citizen to understand and to participate in this energy transformation. And in order to do it, we developed a software prototype that every European citizen can just go on their phone and select their location, type their basic information, their roof area, their investment cost, and overall billings from their own bills, and they receive their payback time period, their yearly saving, and how much carbon dioxide they saved. As I said, this challenge is not only about the economical, it's also very good for the environmental perspective. 1 kilowatt of solar panel energy production saves 425 kilogram carbon dioxide per year. And by this, and considering that every PV system lasts 20 years, we can find out that we are estimatedly saving 8 tons of the carbon dioxide by not burning 4.5 tons of the coal. Thank you. I am open to your questions.
Thank you very much. Dear jury members, your questions and remarks, please.
Thank you for this interesting talk. May I ask one question regarding the battery issue, which you said briefly that this is not really an option for you. However, there is an enormous amount of batteries built in the cars of future cities. Could you say some words about the role of those batteries probably in your concept?
The reason we are not using the batteries are the cost of the batteries are nearly the same of the cost of the whole our solar panels. And the second reason is that every batteries, even the expensive ones, have a certain lifetime period. And after that lifetime period, they become an e-waste, which we are trying to avoid. So that's why we are not trying to use the batteries, but instead having a more productive and environmental safe way, and the sharing and means transferring the energy by the existing community members.
Okay. I was thinking about those batteries, which anyhow are there, even though they are probably not an element of your system, but they exist in the cars after the transformation to electric cars. Yeah. So, but thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Other questions, remarks from the jury, please?
I have a question, Henry.
Yes, please.
Thank you for the presentation. You mentioned that the key point in adoption is that the community members will share and will transfer. The community members, as you are envisioning European applications, can it be a challenge depending on the communities? There should be an adaptation of your solution or not?
The transferring energy will be conducted by the already existing grid cables. We have talked with the major energy distributors in Prague, and they said it's possible for us to distribute the energy coming from PV panels through the grid cables. And so that will not be a problem for us. We will not need any other cables. We will not need any constructions. We will just put our PV panels on our rooftops and use already existing grid cables to share and to transfer the energy between members.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Any other questions or remarks, please? Then I think not. So thank you very much, Team PV on Every Roof, for your presentation and your answers. Well done. And now we move to the next project, which is called Dolos. So please, Dolos, you have the floor.
And everyone hears? Technical problems.
We see Team Dolos, but not yet the presentation.
Yeah, same here. There we go.
Yes, excellent. Please, go ahead.
Have you ever walked past the construction site at night and wondered, why is there so much light on? Why is the power on? And we decided to create a solution for that, and that is the Dolos. We've is this working or? Small technical issues again. Perfect. We've been working with the largest contractor in Scandinavia, which is NCC. And we work with a lot of data sets for them because we were given the task of creating a solution that would help the sustainable and the future job site, the future construction site. We decided to find a way to optimize the already existing construction sites. And working with the data sets from NCC, we found out that there is 45% of the power usage after hours. And we decided to look at that and think, where does the 45% of power usage come from? And why is it after hours? So the problems we decided to look at is, why is the energy consumption after work hours so large? So we looked at, we can only assume at this point it's lighting, it's heaters, it's probably the refrigerators and everything, but we decided to find a solution that would help us specify the problems at hand. So we also decided to, where is the energy used? Is it in the construction? Is it in the offices, or where is it? And then we decided how much energy is actually wasted. So our solution is the Dollars, which is a smart plug and play and an easy on and off control system where you just plug it into your switchboard, and then you can actually control it via your smartphone via an app. This gives you the chance of live monitoring and wireless data gathering, which means that you can show and look at a live feed of how much energy you're using and how much energy you're actually saving with our product. This will make, for the consumer, the data very clearly visible, and the construction managers in charge would be able to save money and see, okay, where am I using energy that I shouldn't probably be using? So, and as you can see, we're in the later stages of a prototype. It's not really what's on the picture, but we're working on it. The features the consumer will get is an app for controlling and visualizing consumption of energy usage. And this will work via a Zigbee mesh network, which would allow you to have approximately around 30 of these on your construction site, and you will be able to control all of them by an app. This will also give you alerts, and for example, a power outage. You will know exactly where the power outage is because you know exactly what switchboard is not working anymore, which means that instead of having to look all the way through the energy and waiting and wasting time, it would actually save time a lot. You also have smart adjustable on and off timers, which means that if you need to close down some energy during the night that you don't need to be used, you can just set a timer for 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It will turn on back on at 6 o'clock in the morning. You will also get an alarm if it's turned on while it's not supposed to be turned on. This gives you a complete control of your construction site and the energy usage. And yeah, that's our product. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, dear members of the jury, can I ask you for questions and remarks?
May I just ask, the key application is the construction site, what you just mentioned. Could you say some words about scaling it up to a larger variety of applications?
So scaling it up to different, in what case? Because we've been looking at scaling it up to, we can actually implement this into two switchboards. We don't have this one, but we can also scale it to different. We don't necessarily only need to use it on construction sites. It's scalable to other parts of, for example, the import industry, the export industry. They can use it as well. Okay. So it's very scalable. If that's the question.
So yeah. So the prerequisite is that you have a limited number of, let's say, of outlets, if you want, which are characteristic then for the energy consumption of the total site. So I think it can be applied to a large variety also of production facilities, I think. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
May I have a question?
Yes, please.
Did you calculate benefits of this solution? Because some energy consumption on construction site is needed all day. So, which is the benefit in consumption of energy during the after hours at the construction site? Did you calculate them?
Did we calculate how much we can save, or?
Yeah, how much we can save?
Roughly, we've been working with just a couple of data sets, and they're very promising at the moment. I think we've calculated around 30 to 35% of the power usage outside of working hours is savable. And we've also been looking into if there's a possibility to save power usage during work hours. So I think we are laying in a very good amount of savings in terms of energy usage. Roughly 30-35% of usage outside working hours.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a last question. There is this time.
Sure, please.
Thank you for your idea and your project. You mentioned that your main interaction in the site is with the construction manager. Have you talked to construction managers and see what can be an obstacle for the adoption of it from their point of view?
We've been talking with a couple of contractors about what issues there might be, and the main issue is for them to actually be using it, which is why we are working on working with a subscription kind of business where we come and we implement the stuff and we make sure that the consumers' problems and values are taken into account, and then we work on the data and we set it up for them and show them how it's done. So that won't be a time issue for them. They've been very positive about the the shortage in time consuming when there is a power outage. So we have a lot of positive feedback from contractors, and the only negative feedback is how we're going to implement it. But the easiness in the plug and play kind of issue, the plug and use, is that you just put it in and then it actually is supposed to be set up during the app, and then you can just start using your energy and see how much you're using.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Team Dolos, for your presentation and your answers to the questions. And now we move to the next project, Answer.ai. So please, Answer.ai, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I am Sanan Suleymanov, team member of Answer.ai. Okay, let's see what is Answer.ai. Yeah, Answer.ai provides efficient control of air ventilation system with its AI algorithm for intelligent building automation companies. But let's see what is the problem. Are you aware that in public and private buildings, air ventilation system works with predefined schedule without depending on the number of the people in the building? And according to the Energy Report journal, HVAC is accountable for 38% of building energy consumption. But we have a solution. We have developed machine learning model, which is capable to predict occupancy level according to CO2 and temperature data. And this model has 96% of accuracy. When we received this project, our challenge was you can't install additional hardware. And we saw that the CO2 and temperature data is available via intelligent building automation companies is working. And it has perfect patterns for training our model. We have done our calculations in our university, in TalTech ICT building, and we saw that we can reduce air ventilation consumption 50% in our experiment rooms. And we assume that we can reach this value, we can reach 20% in all public buildings. Yeah, let's see our business model. Our business model is on the base of B2B. And currently we have industrial partner, which is called EuroTeQaThon, intelligent building automation company. And we want to expand our partnerships in our later development. And the price of the service will depend on the customer need and currently applied technology. But we assume that it will have a default value, which is equal to 0.1 euro per square meter in a month. And it is a legendary team behind of this project. Thanks for your attention. Let's save energy with AI.
Very much for your presentation. So, dear members of the jury, questions and remarks, please.
May I ask, so if I have correctly understand, so you get the data on which you will work, you get from the sensors which are already available in the system. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
So you don't have to install any further infrastructure. So the key issue is kind of data mining, what you do here.
Yeah. And currently, this intelligent building automation company has sensors like CO2, temperature, humidity. We analyzed them and we saw that CO2 and temperature data has perfect patterns for training our model. And we saw that it will give us high accuracy. And we don't need to install additional hardware. And like this. And we had, during the development, we also did our experiments, our own data set we gathered in our university. And we trained our model on the basis of supervised learning. And we had input value like temperature and CO2. And in output, the number of the people in the building that we used eVision system for counting the number of the people in the room. And after training and testing our model, we saw that we can receive high accuracy for prediction.
So would it be beneficial to in addition measure the number? Would it be an added value to capture the number of the people, the occupancy of the rooms we are looking at?
For training and getting the data set, for training our model, we need just one camera, and we did it already. We don't need to do it every time, just for training our model, for creating our system, we needed it. And yeah, we used a camera for counting the number of the people in the room. And we had a CO2 and temperature sensor, which was working synchronously. And yeah, we use this data set for training.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or remarks from the jury, please? Yes?
May I ask about the statistical model as well? That's the key, and you have accuracy there, but how about then the specificity of the model? Adding the other dimension which you ultimately want to have in order to have a reliable statistical model. So how much false positives there may be in that system in its predictions?
Actually, I could not hear so much clearly. Could you please repeat because of these technical issues?
Specificity in addition to accuracy of the statistical model. Have you estimated the specificity levels, the type 1 and type 2 errors combined, so that you will have a more reliable predictions of the entire system in the future?
Yeah. Okay. We have used deep neural network, and after that we calculated the accuracy and also recall of the model, and we saw that it gives us a high reliable model. In the first phase of the project development, we have used unsupervised learning, and we use K-means clustering. But yeah, we want much more reliable solution, and we want to see, because in the unsupervised learning, we didn't have output how many number of the people there is currently in the room. But we have done our own experiments, and we used supervised learning where we have a number of the people in the room, and we saw that we can predict this occupancy level much more in a reliable way. And yeah, we use some metrics, like, as I said, recall and accuracy we used, and we saw that by with our test data set, we can receive high accuracy by using this model. I hope I covered your question. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. So if there are no more questions by the jury members, then Answer AI, thank you very much for your presentation and answering the questions. And we move to the next project, Soteria. So please, Soteria, you have the floor.
Oh, the local support. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you and see you.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me start by showing you something. Now this is a lithium-ion battery, and it's commonly used in batteries, not batteries of course, but smartphones and electric vehicles. And this is the backbone to the electrical energy transition. And this is Tim. He is our local scrapyard manager, and this is our very local scrapyard right here. And this could end up in here, and when it's being transported or maybe crushed, something like this could happen. Oh no, there's a fire, okay. And Tim has been trying to solve this internally, and goes medium, you could say. But the real problem is navigating between all the different solution providers that are there, and which solution he should, he should choose. So that is where Soteria comes into the picture. With Soteria, we started as a fancy street light add-on with a cool design, but we realized quickly that we could make a bigger impact if we took the existing solutions and then adapted them to the current needs. So we will co-create with our customers to the left, and then to really understand the problem. We will take that problem, go to our solution providers to the right, to tailor a solution that fits the customer needs. It's almost in the same spirit that this whole EuroTech Collider went, in that we co-create to contribute to the further energy transition, it's called. But here we have another one of Tim's scrapyards, and he has asked us to help him. So what we would do is use our ACI method, which is the first step is the assessment, meaning that me and Tim would work together to get to the problem of it. And in this case, Tim's problem is about sorting the battery so it's in the right waste stream, and also he's really bad at managing fires at an early stage. So then we're going to our consultancy and implementation. That's where we also look to our solution providers, you could say. And in Tim's case, we could use something like this. This is an AI sorting device of a preventive measure that sorts the batteries before they go into the wrong waste stream. We could also use something like this, which is a thermal camera who can detect the fire at an early stage. So when we have these developed and implemented, Tim is happy and he can go for a coffee break. You can take that. Thank you. But if we couldn't help Tim, maybe his place would look like this, or something like this maybe, and the cost of this could go well up into the millions. So it's an urgent issue, but where do we really start? So, together with our Challenge Initiators Core, we aim to start a pilot in Amsterdam in September, in the Amsterdam harbor. So Tim has reappeared again with his fire, as you can see, and in the immediate danger, we have the worker safety. But then we also have the potential fire hazard spreading, and actually to the left of Tim is the NERCO, which handles all of the supply of coal in the whole Netherlands. And being next to Tim, maybe that's not the best thing to do. And then of course we have the emissions. So what we wanted to do with all of these pilots, we want to include all the stakeholders to then create a success story that can take us further into our ventures. Because Tim is not alone. Actually, 92% of the EU recycling fires are battery related. And therefore, we want to go into the EU and show our concept and get input, and maybe we can make a difference. So, we are Soteria, and we fight fire before fire fights you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team Soteria, for your presentation. So, dear members of the jury, you are all safe. So, please ask your questions.
I have a question, Henry. Julia here.
Yes, please.
So thank you for your presentation. And you mentioned you want to co-create the solution. So could you please explain us how you put the stakeholders on board to find the right solutions, and how quick you can find the right solutions depending on the on your case, because you presented a say geographically identified case, but it can be anywhere in Europe as well. So the stakeholders are not the same. Maybe the network is similar and the transactions and the connections are similar, or maybe not.
Can you hear me? All right. So that's a very good question. We aim to, of course, start a pilot in the Port of Amsterdam, which would be a very interesting case to learn from. And what we realized is that the Netherlands is in recycling quite safe already. So when we learn from such a case as Amsterdam, we gain the experience, we build upon a very nice network already. And if we then go to other stakeholders in Europe, we already have a lot of knowledge with us. Considering the time period, I would say we expect, of course, to go through this ACI method of assessment, consultancy, and implementation anywhere between a few months to 2 to 3 years to come up with like a nice reduction in fire hazards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So, dear jury members, other questions or remarks, please?
I have one question for your ACI method. So you now have this, let's say, pilot case in Amsterdam, you just explained. Where do you see the main challenges? Are the challenges more in the general, let's say, setup of the systems, which is probably then more difficult to carry out a consultancy, or so logistic and physical setup, or is it more in the logistics of the processes in the systems where you will have the best potential for your consultancy? Could you say something? Do you have a feeling about that?
Well, thank you again for the question. I think you ask a very valid one. This is one of the assumptions that we aim to validate in the coming months, because, of course, there's always the trade-off. You want to solve processes as early on in the logistical chain as possible. So anywhere where you can already reduce batteries coming into a waste stream would be much better than making sure that the fire extinguishing equipment is nearby if things go wrong. So yeah, we need to find the balance, I would say so, but we do that by building on the expertise of the scrap yards that are in Amsterdam that have their own in-house knowledge, and we provide then the brains to well, connect our solution partners in a proper way. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions or remarks, please? It appears not. So, Team Soteria, thank you very much for your presentation. And now we move already to the last presentation that we have today. So I give the floor to Zip Digital. Please, you have the floor.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Alvin Tom from SIP Digital. At SIP Digital, we are committed to reducing your digital footprint. Our vision is to reduce the digital waste you create. Zippy here, our mascot, loves to stream Netflix 2 hours a day. What's his digital footprint? It's equivalent to 318 kilometers of petrol car driven. Even though he uses a bicycle to go to university, this is like he uses a car instead. So why is this carbon footprint coming? Streaming needs data, and data needs networks and data centers. And these data centers and network uses power. And the power creates a carbon footprint. So we decided to help Zippy understand his digital waste and try to reduce it. So we created this calculator app which Zippy can use to enter his monthly activities on the internet, and it calculates his carbon footprint. It also gives an option to reduce and compress his footprint, and there you go. You have reduced by 35% by simply reducing the quality of streaming he uses. And this digital waste is different from e-waste. E-waste focuses mostly about the hardware and the material that goes into electronic devices, but digital waste is about the energy consumption of the data networks which runs the internet traffic and also your cloud storage. And he has reduced from 318 to 136 kilometers his footprint. Looking forward, we hope this will inspire a revolution towards a digital era sustainable development goal, the 18th SDG. And you can also use this QR code to check out the app, the Wireframe app, to experience it for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zip Digital, for your presentation. Dear jury members, last presentation, last questions, remarks?
I may, from where do you have the data with which you feed actually your app to assess the digital footprint? So how valid is the data?
So
there are some consumption. I assume there are some consumption data depending on the size of information you transport. So would you say some words about that?
Yes. Thank you for the question. And we are using multiple data sources. So primary data would be like, for example, Netflix. Netflix releases some data regarding the amount of data speed required at various levels of quality. Then we have used a Germany scenario where the energy mix and the carbon footprint of the energy in Germany. And for other systems, like for example, cloud gaming, you have data from NVIDIA at various quality level, how much data is being consumed. And so we have compared these two with a research from 2016, which was done in Finland and Sweden, which predicted the data center and the network energy consumption per GB of data being transferred. So based on that, comparing the data transfer rate, the kilowatt hour consumption per GB, and the Germany's equivalent carbon per kilowatt hour. So combining these three, this evaluates the final carbon footprint.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is Julia here? Thank you very much for your project, your idea. You're proposing an idea that monitors and raises the awareness of the carbon footprint of individual habits and routines. So they should adopt it. What is your plan for making these people to adopt something that makes them aware of something that potentially should change their habits for a lower, let's say, quality standards, but for other benefits? Is there a roadmap for this in your project? Or?
Yes. In the later stages, if we can convince the tech giants and the platform to integrate this feature into platforms like iOS, Android, and Windows, there could be like simple toggle buttons. Like, for example, when your mobile phone battery goes down, you press this power saving button and it reduces its performance to last longer. So something like that could be implemented through partnering with these tech giants. This is an opportunity where individuals will not be pressured to do this, but it will be a simple toggle switch, and without even they realizing, and it will connect with all these apps like Netflix or YouTube and reduce the quality on a platform level.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there other questions or remarks?
May I have one question?
Yes, please.
You provide a lot of data about the carbon footprint of the digital technologies, but do you already compare them with the traditional technologies that are replaced by digital technologies regarding to carbon dioxide footprint?
Do you mean
if you are speaking about Netflix? Netflix replaces to going to the movie theater or something like this, and there's also significant footprint, carbon dioxide footprint. So, do you compare these technologies or these habits?
Not really. One of the reasons we didn't go into that detail is because streaming is so convenient and people do it a lot. So you will not go to a movie every single day. So probably you will go once in a week or twice in a month. And it depends on the quality of the movie also. But Netflix or YouTube, it's like something you can overdo. And people don't realize, even someone who is environmentally conscious and uses public transport or uses an electric vehicle may stream movies or binge watch shows without realizing he is creating carbon footprints elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it could be more put into the context because as our today event is doing online, and we spare a lot of tons of carbon dioxide when we are not using planes. So we need to think about it in complex.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you. Thank you
my
for the
remark.
Yeah. Thank you for your.
So, dear jury members, any other questions or remarks, please? Then with that, a big thank you for Zip Digital for your presentation. And this closes today's presentations of all 14 teams who are competing today in the EuroTeQaThon. So now begins the highlight of this whole event, and that means that the jury will retreat in session to determine the 3 best winners of the EuroTeQaThon. So they will decide on 1 winner for cities, 1 winner for consumption, and 1 winner for energy. And so, dear jury members, you will go to a breakout room where you will have time to consult and make your choice. And we will be happy to see you back at 1. We very much appreciate that you are spending the Sunday on this event, and we really do not want to steal more time from you. But if you like, then you can be involved in the announcement as well. I'll leave it up to you. We have everything organized in such a way that if you send us the results of your choice, then we will continue with the announcement. But if you want to be involved in the announcement, please let us know, and we will do it like that. So, dear audience, dear students, now we have an hour break, and in 1 hour we will hear the final result of the EuroTeQaThon of today, the very first of the EuroTech project. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your presentations, and see you in 1 hour. Thank you. audience, dear student teams, it is time. 1 o'clock has passed, and the jury has been in session, and they have decided who will be the winners of the first EuroTeQathon project.
Yeah, and we know it already, but you're not. So
we have the pleasure that Julia will do the announcement who has actually won. Julia, are you online? Let's wait for Julia.
Oh, we asked to our technical support if Julia still is in the breakout room. So please, yeah. Ah,
Yes, here you are, Julia.
Welcome.
Okay, and Professor Müller is also here, and the other team members. Exactly, thank you. So, the first group was cities. In cities, we saw presentations by Pologistics, Site Vision, Asura, and Vertigrow. And dear Julia, who is the winner?
What an honor. So the winner is team of Asura. Congratulations. And you have been selected as a winner because you presented an innovative, tangible approach with convincing piloting that be scaled up in a very promising way. So congratulations, team Asura.
So what do you win? As we have said already many times before, the Asura team will win a trip to Brussels, where you can have the presentation of your project also for EU representatives. And we have also produced this very nice certificate for you. I'm going closer to the camera. Okay. That means that you will, you can choose a total amount of 500 euros for books. So we will coordinate that with your local people from your university to help you make the selection and that you can get these books for your team members. So that was team number 1. Now we move to the second group, consumption. In consumption, we had EBoost for Grid, Cirque Heat, Grocery Packaging Service, Cardboxer, and Advance. And Julia, the winner is?
The winner is Advance team. Congratulations, team.
So please come in here, Advance team.
You address the ways to tackle in a systemic manner, be aware of it, the responsibility of humanity with the life cycle of modern devices. Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome, welcome.
So, congratulations. I have to do it for the camera.
We still have,
so
yeah, come a little bit closer.
You also have this certificate where you can choose up to a total amount of 500 euros books for yourselves. So, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Is it working? I think so.
I don't know if it's working, but if it's working, thank you very much also to the jury for choosing us. And we're really looking forward to going to Brussels and pitch our idea. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Say something, sorry. I know this is really a very great opportunity, and I would obviously really like to thank our mentor, if he's here, Professor Wüster, and of course the team, because everybody has been great. And also, thank you, everybody.
Okay, good.
Wonderful.
So,
okay.
And then we get to the third and last group, energy. In energy, we had presentations, photovoltaics on every roof. We had presentations, Dolos, ENSA AI, Soteria, and Zip Digital. And dear Julia, who is the winner of energy?
For energy, the winner is ENSA.ai because it proposes an innovative approach and a role model for enhancing the current infrastructure by adding data mining and artificial intelligence. So congratulations, teams.
So congratulations, ENSA AI. And also for you, we have the certificate we will get in touch with your local coordinator so that you can get the 500 euros amount for choosing books for your teammates. So,
here they are. They are coming.
Are they there?
Yeah.
Will there be a few words or not?
First of all, they will open the bottle.
The bottle opening.
I will give you this again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, hi, I'm Priska. I just want to say thank you for this great opportunity. I've always been interested in energy right from when I was a child. So, seeing that we are doing this is really very encouraging for me. And I just want to thank the moderators and the organizers of this challenge.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. I know that everyone did hard work, and yeah, everyone deserves to be here because they are finally. And thank you very much. And I want to thank our Professor Edward as well. And yeah, see you later.
Excellent, congratulations. Maybe from the Asura team, if they would like to grab the mic and give a few words.
Yes, hello. Yes, first of all, thank you. It's an honor to be a part of the first EuroTeQathon, and we as a team are really looking forward to be at Brussels and present our idea. And also a big thank you to everyone at Eindhoven and also back in Munich for hosting a very good event during the weekend.
Thank you.
All right. And this brings us to the closure of the whole EuroTeQathon that we had in the past 3 days.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. For the first time, we hosted this EuroTeQathon all together. The DTU, TalTech, TU Eindhoven, CTU from Prague, and when you start to list, normally you forget one, which one? Exactly, Polytechnique from Paris, I'm so sorry. And obviously also TUM. I would also thanks a lot to our technical support, to Moritz Huber and his video and live stream team, and to our student representatives. Without them, it wouldn't be the same event, and I believe that being assisted by students of our university is the best way to realize events like this, and it is a wonderful example for future events which we will host and successfully realize for the next period.
Very, very true, Peter. So to conclude with all the thank yous, there is a very, very long list. So the whole EuroTech project is made possible by the President's Forum, the Management Board and the Secretariat, who provide the whole infrastructure and the managing of this very big project. There are more than 150 people working on the campus, the Collider, the Outreach, the Connector and related projects that are part of the EuroTech project. The local advisory boards are very, very important. These are the companies that work together with the EuroTech universities, who give the challenges for the students to work on. They are very, very vital in this project. Peter already mentioned it, the technical support, not only here in Munich, but also in Eindhoven and in Lyngby. Give a big round for these people, because they worked very, very hard in the past 3 days. And of course, the students. Thank you so much for working on the Collider in the past months and coming here together on the EuroTeQathon. You did a great job. Thank you very much, jury members. You had a tough time looking in a very short amount of time to 14 excellent ideas and very creative solutions by young people who are our future of engineering education. And of course you, the audience, for being here and looking at the YouTube stream. Thank you very much. And finally, a very big thank you to my partner in crime, Peter.
Oh, Henry.
Es war ein großes Vergnügen.
Impressive, yes. Thank you very much. The same for me. And once again, thank you to all of you, and in special for our students who participated not only as winners of the local colliders, but who accepted the challenge and started in April, May with their development of their own ideas. And without you, it wouldn't have happened, and it's for you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
And goodbye, indeed.